What if I told you? One Piece 1175 just revealed that the war god Nidhogg might not be an enemy, but one of Joyboy's strongest Nakama. And what if the battle between the sun god and the war god didn't just happen once, but across multiple worlds? Yeah, this chapter didn't just drop lore, it changed the entire history of Elbaf. Welcome to Super Synth D Studio, where One Piece spoilers hit different. If you live for wild theories and hype breakdowns, smash that like button, drop a comment, give that hype energy, and don't forget to subscribe. Alright, let's dive in. One Piece chapter 1175 is titled Nidhogg, and if we translate the Japanese kanji directly, it carries the meaning of Thunder Dragon. Yeah, let that sink in. On the cover page this week, the reader request is Sabo surrounded by baby koalas. Koala is calmly drinking tea and eating eucalyptus leaves alongside an adult koala, while Sabo watches over the baby koalas like a protective big brother. It's wholesome. It's random. It's peak One Piece cover energy. Now the chapter begins. Sanji frees Robin from Summer's thorny tendrils using Diable Jambe. He kicks and completely destroys the thorn vines in one clean strike. At the same time, Loki and Luffy, who is still wearing his original outfit, and no, that was not an Oda drawing mistake in the previous chapter, carry the children and their families towards the western village, near where Jarul is located. Summers is absolutely furious because his plan failed, so he decides to launch his thorns toward the children's families, who are still severely injured from earlier when they tried to rescue the kids. But then something insane happens. The children step forward. They choose to stand in front of their own families to block the incoming thorns. Ripley screams, "Please, Colin, run!" "I won't. I'm going to protect you, Mom," Colin shouts back. And just when it looks hopeless, Zoro arrives right on time and blocks every single thorn. Luffy yells, "Nice job, Zoro. I knew I could trust you. Ha ha ha." Zoro responds calmly, "I figured that was your plan. Now do it." Summers shouts, "What the hell is this? Who is that?" Luffy answers proudly, "He's from my crew. His name is Zoro. Don't you ever forget it." And then, Luffy grabs lightning from the clouds with his left hand. With his right hand, he forms it like a telescope, locking his vision directly onto Summers. And then he unleashes a brand new attack. Luffy shouts, "Gomu Gomu no Donthor Rifle." In Japanese, the kanji literally means White Thunder Rotating Bullet. And what happens next is absolutely insane. In a truly epic double-page spread, Luffy's gigantic fist slams brutally into Summer's body, electrocuting him at the exact same time. The impact is so devastating that Summer's body shatters into pieces. We even see his teeth fly out as his face splits into multiple fragments. It's brutal. It's savage. It's Gear 5 chaos at its finest. But Summer's suffering doesn't end there. In another unbelievable double-page spread, Loki steps on him. Then, in a brief flashback, Jarul remembers what happened when Loki left Orist Castle after killing Harold. Jarul explains to Gaben and Shanks about the devil fruit that Loki consumed. Jarul says, Loki ate the Ryu Ryu no Mi, the dragon fruit, mythical type, model Nidhogg. Whoever eats it gains the form of the largest dragon in the world. However, the limit of how much that power can be used depends on the original size of the user. That's why, compared to a human, a giant can draw out greater potential from the fruit. And an ancient giant can unleash even greater potential than an ordinary giant. At its largest possible size, this pitch-black dragon that breathes lightning is said to be capable of turning day into night when it takes flight. Let that visual hit for a second. A lightning-breathing black dragon so massive, it darkens the sky just by flying. Shanks then asks, "So you decided to forbid anyone from eating it because its power was too dangerous?" Jarl replies, "No, that's not it. If someone attempts to eat it, the guardian hammer Ragnir will interfere. In Elbaf, we have a legend about a war god who was said to wield the weapon, Ragnir. It is said that he transformed into a gigantic dragon and fought against the sun god. and beside him stood his loyal servant, Ratatoskr, the ice squirrel. When the war god died, the spirit of Ratatoskr transferred into his master's hammer, and ever since that day, Ragnir has protected that devil fruit until someone strong enough is able to inherit it. As Ja Rule speaks about the legend of Elbaf's warrior deity, we are shown an image of that ancient battle. On one side, the war god of Elbaf, a massively muscular giant with a white beard and mustache, wearing a horned helmet, holds the hammer Ragnir in his hand. Beside him stands Ratatoskr, the ice squirrel. He looks slightly different from the present-day squirrel spirit within Ragnir. Ratatoskr has pointed ears, and the markings on his fur are slightly different. Then we see the sun god, and he looks extremely similar to the depiction we saw when Ja Rule first mentioned him in Elbaf, carrying a sword, a shield, wearing a loincloth, and possessing hair that looks like Luffy's Gear 5. But here's the crazy part. The image shown in this chapter does not look like an illustration from a book or an ancient drawing. It looks like a real scene, like an actual moment frozen in time. The two gods clashing in the middle of battle. And the sun god in that image could easily be mistaken for Luffy. They look almost identical. Not similar, not symbolic, almost identical. Yeah, Oda is cooking something massive here. Back to the present. Loki now shifts his focus toward the MMA monsters. In the truly epic double-page spread that closes the chapter, Loki fires a massive lightning attack from his mouth called Thorheim. In Japanese, the kanji literally means Thunderworld. Yeah, Thunderworld. The attack creates an enormous explosion, filled with both regular lightning and black lightning, completely obliterating most of the MMA monsters. The chapter ends with Imu, or Gunko, looking toward Loki, Luffy, and Ragnir as the MMA monsters begin to disappear. Then the scene shifts to Merry Juiz. The real Imu stands inside the Room of Flowers, and in the final panel of the chapter, we see Imu's eyes filled with pure rage. Imu says, "I understand, Nidhogg. So that's where you've been all this time." Interesting. So Imu actually knows Nidhogg, but that raises a massive question. When exactly did the battle between the sun god Nika and the war god of Elbaf take place? Because even in the mural of Elbaf, we are shown the image of a gigantic black dragon descending from the top of the Atom Tree. If the mural image on the right represents the first world, and the mural image on the left represents the second world, does that mean the entity known as Imu has existed since the first world? If the sun god Nika appeared in the first, second, and third worlds, then that means Nidhogg also appeared in all three eras. Remember, Imu once said that Elbaf is D, so the meeting between the strongest warriors of Elbaf and those who carry the name D is not a coincidence. Yeah, the meeting between Zebek and Harold, then Luffy and Loki. That means the meeting between Joyboy and the war god of Elbaf was not a coincidence either. From the very beginning, Elbaf has stood on the opposite side of the world government. Only during the era of Harold's leadership did Elbaf attempt to become part of the world government, which means the king of Elbaf during the Void Century, who most likely was the war god figure described by Ja Rule, would have been one of Joyboy's Nakama, or part of his alliance. There is an interesting pattern that Oda has been giving us since the Wano country arc. What is it? Yeah, Oda consistently introduces the Nakama of Joyboy. In the Wano arc, it was confirmed that Zunesha was one of Joyboy's Nakama. Then, in the Egghead arc, we were shown Emeth as one of Joyboy's Nakama. And now, in the Elbaf arc, will it be confirmed that the Black Dragon Nidhogg is also one of Joyboy's Nakama? And if that's the case, are these three colossal beings the three strongest Nakama of Joyboy? Now that's interesting. And here's the best part. There is no break next week. Weekly Shonen Jump's cover will feature One Piece, along with a color spread in Chapter 1176. And if Nidhogg truly appeared in the first, second, and third worlds, if the war god of Elbaf really stood beside Joyboy during the Void Century, then this isn't just another power reveal. This is Oda slowly rebuilding Joyboy's original crew, Zunesha, Emeth, and maybe now, the Black Dragon Nidhog. 3 colossal beings, 3 ancient allies, 3 monsters that could shake the world again. And if Imu knows Nidhogg, then the final war might already be closer than we think. So here's the real question. Is Nidhogg an enemy, or is he Joyboy's forgotten weapon? Drop your theories in the comments. If you felt the hype in this chapter, hit that like button so the algorithm knows this is real One Piece energy. Subscribe for the next breakdown, because there's no break next week, and chapter 1176 is getting a cover and color spread. Oda's cooking, and we're not missing a single detail. I'll see you in the next one.